Hey, what's up guys? This is Tomer, the co-founder of the Digital Reach platform, and today we're going to go over on how to create lookalike audiences on Facebook. So, about lookalike audiences, a lookalike audience is a way to reach new people who are likely to be interested in your business because they're similar to your best existing customers. Now remember, this is what Facebook is saying. So in context, when you create a lookalike audience, you choose a source audience, a custom audience created with information pulled from your Pixel, mobile app, or fans of your page. We identify the common qualities of the people in it, for example, demographic information or interests. Then we deliver your ad to an audience of people who are similar to or look like them. So that's just a little bit information by Facebook on what a lookalike audience is. So the first thing you want to do is sign in and log into your business manager page. Go to these three little lines over here. Click on that. Go and find assets, and right under it, click on audiences. When you click on that, you get redirected to this page right here. And as you can tell, I already have some audiences created, some lookalike audiences for previous examples and tutorials. And we're going to go over to the different lookalike audiences that, the options of lookalike audiences you can create. So for this example, we're going to start off with one of my customer lists that I uploaded, which is my custom audience. And we're going to click on that right here. And then we're going to click on create lookalike audience. So it's not going to make a duplicate, so I'm not going to make one specifically like what I currently have. But let's click on create lookalike audience. Now, I'm going to select the location. Since I already did one in the US and Canada, I'll just do the United States again. Now select the number of audiences. I'm just going to keep one, but in this case, since I did the 1%, and it's not going to let me do it again because I already have it, I'm just going to do 2%. Now, the audience size ranges from 1 to 10% of the combined population of your selected locations. A 1% lookalike consists of people most similar to your lookalike source. Increasing this percentage creates a bigger, broader audience. So as you can tell, when I move from 1% all the way up to 2%, it basically doubled from 2.3 mil to about 4.7 million. And if I keep going so forth and so forth, it goes all the way up to 23.9 million, which is the estimated reach, and that's at 10%. So we'll do, since I already did 1%, let's do 2%. And you can, by the way, create a number of these lookalike audiences, all the way up to 6. So let's click 1, and let's click create audience. So right here, you can see I have the 2%, and Facebook is currently populating this. Now, you just don't want to leave it like this. So when you create a lookalike audience, right, when you use it in your campaign, and you want it to target specific people, you just don't want to be specifically, broad. Maybe you do. Maybe you want people specifically in the United States. But if you are aiming for specific people in a specific location, you can even break it down even further by interests, behaviors, demographics, age, and so forth. So this is where this comes in. So we just created a lookalike audience. It was pretty easy and simple. So let's create an audience. Now we're going to create what we call is a saved audience. And when you click on that, let's name this audience when this loads. Let's take the audience, one of the audiences that I currently have, and let's do based on the lookalike audience of the 2%. We'll name this lookalike audience example US 2%. Now you can also create a new audience or exclude. Now the cool thing about lookalike audience is that since we use, for example, our the customer list, right? The lookalike audience, Facebook will not show your ad to the people who are in that list. So what a lookalike audience does is takes people who are similar to that and automatically excludes the people who are already in your list, which is pretty neat, right? So like I said, we want to narrow this down. And let's narrow this down. We'll keep people living in or recently in this location. Now, like I said in previous tutorials, you can easily just change it to people living in this location, people recently in this location, people traveling in this location. But for this instance, we're going to choose people living in or recently in this location. Let's year of United States. And in this tutorial, let's aim at Charlotte, North Carolina as the DMA. Now you can see right here an expected error. Please retry. Oh, we're gonna have to change that in a little bit. But we can get very specific. Maybe we can let's add Raleigh to our criteria as well. Raleigh, North Carolina, and here's the DMA right here. Let's see, and let's add Asheville. Asheville. No, we're good with those two over there. So let's keep those two. Now we have the ages. In this tutorial, since I want to, let's just say, target advertisers or people who are interested in our digital marketing services, let's target people between the ages of 30, and let's target people between the ages 30 and 55, all genders. We're going to choose English as the language. Now we can get very detailed with our targeting. So these are a lookalike audience, right? People who are located in Charlotte and Raleigh, and of my customer list. And now I want to get very specific. So my lookalike audience, the customer list I uploaded, were people who were presidents and CEOs on my customer list. That's the type of list I had. So we don't necessarily need to, but let's add, just to be safe, some behaviors and demographics. So let's go for demographics under work. Let's go under, I want to target people in the industry of business and finance. I want to target business and finance, and there was one, there we go, healthcare and medical services, as well as IT and technical services. So I want those fields. So let's click off of that. Then let's add, and by the way, Facebook also offers suggestions of who they think might be who you might want to target. And this is exactly who I want. Now that would be under browse and then under behaviors, but I want to target small business owners as well. So I want to target people in these fields right here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to narrow down my audience actually. So I want to target people in these industries. So let's choose sales and management, sales, and let's do one more in legal services. Now we're going to get very specific. Like I said, I'm trying to target business owners. So let's narrow this audience down to business owners, and we want them to be a behavior, small business owner. Oh, sorry, there we go, small business owner. And there we go. So we're going to target that and create the audience. And if you see, so far data is not available currently for our audience. Now we can also do based on connections as well, right? So you can add people who like your page, friends of people who like your page, exclude people who like your page, people who use your app, friends of people who use your app, exclude people who use your app, people who responded to your event, and excluded people who already responded to your event. And then you can also do a combination, advanced combinations of all those things. In this case, I'm pretty satisfied with my audience because I wanted to target people in business and finance, healthcare and medical services, IT and technical services, legal services, management, sales, and then we're also narrowing it down to small business owners. So we want to target people who are the small business owners because those are the decision makers in those fields, in those industries. I apologize. And we're also targeting people, remember, who speak English, all genders, age between 30 and 55, and remember, Charlotte and Raleigh. And these are people living in or recently in this location. So remember also, this is the lookalike audience. So these are people, like I said, who are similar to our customer list. So these are people who, like I said, who are most similarly like my custom audience. My customer list, and who are more likely interested in our services. So let's do create saved audience. And right now, it's currently populating. So Facebook is currently generating a size of the lit audience. So that was just the first one. So you can tell though right there and then we created this just based off a customer list, which I think is the best use of this. Now what we can do with our lookalike audience is that we can create something else too. So let's do based on website traffic. Now you can also, by the way, create these custom audiences, which I showed in a previous tutorial, and I might need to create another video just going specifically on the custom audiences that you can make. But here you go. You have your website, customer list, app activity, offline activity, video, Instagram business profile, lead form, events, instant experience, and Facebook page. So like I said, we're just going to do website. Now you obviously have to have the pixel for this to work. And that could be, explained in other YouTube videos, or I might create one for that as well. Now we can include people who meet any of these criteria or all these criteria. So let's do, I want, let's see, specifically people who went to my contact page, right? So I want specifically people that went to the contact page on my website. So I'm just going to do contact right there. There we go. So this is going to be anyone who specifically went to the contact page on my website. Now you need a certain amount of traffic for this to be valid. So just in case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the maximum amount of days. Now typically I would recommend maybe 90 days or 30 days. But I just want people who went to that contact page. Now I would also change it to maybe somebody who went to this page on mine, which are people who filled out our contact form. So it'd be the contact hyphen think hyphen you. But in this case, like I said, I'm just going to go to people who onto the contact page based on website traffic. So let's do that. Now I don't want to include more people because I think this is fine. And let's just name our audience website traffic contact example. Let's click create audience. Now when you go when you press done, right, you go back to your page right here, and you're gonna click right here, the little check, and you're gonna create a lookalike audience. So let's do the same thing. Select location. We're gonna do United States. And we're going to do the 1%. So this, once again, this is the people who, are estimated reach. When you keep changing it, it's going to double. And when you go up to 10%, it goes up to 23.9 million. But like I said, I want to stick with that 1%. And let's create look audience. Now, the same thing. It's populating. Now, depending on the amount of traffic you have, it could be below the estimated size. Could be below 1,000, but let's continue with this tutorial. So after that, you see the lookalike audience right here. Now we're going to do the same exact thing, right? So I can go back to saved audience, go to your custom audiences, and let's do the lookalike audience based on our website traffic contact example. And we'll just call this look like audience example 2. Once again, you can name it anything you like, but in this case, just so I remember, just going to name it that. And we can change the location. This time, I'm just going to do specifically North Carolina. Maybe I want to target the whole state of North Carolina. There we go, state. So I'm going to target the whole state of North Carolina. I'm going to do same thing, age 30 to 55. The language will be English, and we're going to do all genders once again. In this case, let's just to speed this up, I'm just going to do small business owners as the behavior. Now, let's just create saved audience. If you liked our video, please subscribe to our channel. And until next time, I'm signing off.